Just eating a very random snack of some leftover minestrone, which is like vegetables, pasta, kidney beans, pesto, various things in it, in this beautiful hand-painted bowl that my sister painted when she was a child. So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about grad school and how that's going, and also a bit about eating disorder recovery, eating disorders in there as well. So I posted on my blog a few weeks ago about how I was feeling really frustrated in grad school because I've been involved in this student association doing advocacy for students, and just feeling basically like we're hitting our heads against a brick wall the whole time because people don't want to change things to make grad school systems more equitable or fair, and it's really frustrating. And in the midst of that, I listened to a podcast recently, which I think was with Emily Troscienko, who I really recommend. If you haven't looked at her blog, The Hunger Artist, then I definitely recommend that. What is happening with my computer? Why did it just go dark like this? So basically what she said on the podcast is that anger is a really difficult emotion for eating disorder sufferers in particular to deal with, and that our eating disorders may have served in the past or be currently serving to numb ourselves of feeling angry because we don't really know what to do with that. In general, for everyone, anger is just a very difficult emotion to deal with, particularly perhaps for females, marginalised groups who have a lot of underlying anger at the way systems are built and like the structural inequity that there is. I hate feeling angry. I know that I hate feeling angry. It's the emotion that I most despise because often the things that I get angry at are things that I don't have any power to change, or it might be something to do with ways other people have been treated unfairly, or that I feel I've been treated unfairly, and there's no easy solution to these problems. Doing something about these problems might actually be more harmful and prolong this feeling of anger rather than helping in any way. So I hate feeling angry, and my anger usually stems from a feeling of powerlessness. Feeling powerless is also a common theme amongst doctoral students, but also among people with eating disorders. I read an interesting article recently which said that powerlessness is linked to body image disturbances and eating disturbances as well. Basically, I've just told you a lot of information, and working that through in my head, it seems like feeling powerless and feeling angry are things that graduate school students, doctoral students are likely to face because the whole system of academia is very antiquated. It's inequitable, so females and marginalised groups are particularly likely to feel powerless and angry. People with eating disorders don't like feeling angry. They may resort to their eating disorder as a way to cope with feeling angry. Feeling powerless is also linked to eating disorder behaviours. That information has been circling through my mind as I found myself a few weeks ago really finding it hard to eat. And just gonna eat some of this right now. Like, my appetite was lower. I felt like I wasn't interested in eating food, that I honestly, like, as cliched as it sounds when people say that eating disorders are about control, which I don't believe they totally are, and I think that's quite an oversimplification, I really wanted to feel in control of something because because academia, my PhD project and the things that I was trying to achieve through student advocacy felt very much out of my control. I felt like I didn't have any power to achieve anything, and people weren't really listening, and I just wanted to feel some sense of efficacy or achievement, or like hey, this is something that I can do, I can get better at. If I do these steps, then I will improve, or I can feel some sense of self-efficacy. For me, with my eating disorder, losing weight was something that I enjoyed, because I knew that if I ate this and didn't eat that and exercised this amount, then I would lose weight when I weighed myself at the end of that week. And the same thing next week, and the same thing the week after that. It was something I could rely on. It felt like something that I could rely on for a sense of, hey, I can do this. This is something that I can actually do. I can achieve this. And if I can't have power over anything else in my life, if I can't have power over, I feel like I don't have power in my relationships and my work and my studies, then at least I can have some power over this. Honestly, that was really hard to give up. And I'm talking like 2 years ago, I think now, that I started recovery. I haven't relapsed by any means. I just remember one of the things that I hated about going through recovery is that I would eat lots and then I would gain weight, but it wasn't like I would gain weight. It wasn't like I could eat this, this, and this, and I would gain this amount of weight, and it would happen in a structured way regularly each week. It was like I would gain this amount, then I would gain this amount, then I would gain this amount, and then I might even lose a little bit and then gain a lot. And I hated that. Control over anything anymore. I felt really powerless again. Powerless to my eating disorder. But the reality is, of course, that I was always powerless to my eating disorder, because the reality is that even when I was losing weight, I was powerless to my eating disorder, because I was just going along with what my eating disorder made me believe was best for me. And actually, by gaining weight, I was gaining back my power and my strength. Oh my gosh, I just went off on a huge tangent again. What I'm getting at in this video is that I feel like doctoral students, graduate school students are in a really perfect position to suffer from mental health issues, and in particular eating disorders. Like feeling powerless, feeling invisible, struggling in your relationships with your supervisors, struggling with long working hours. These are all things that have contributed to my eating disorder in the past, and are things that we struggle with as graduate students very often, and I struggle with them. Like feeling isolated, competitive environment, perfectionistic standards and high expectations, like all of this. It just seems like a perfect storm for eating disorder. This review article that I read in the description box, but basically this study, they listed all these risk factors for poor mental health during academia or during graduate school when you're doing a PhD. I can see how easily it would be for someone to develop an eating disorder during academia, or even for me to relapse. So it's been like, when I noticed a few weeks ago that I was feeling like I wasn't as keen on eating, it was so important. It's been so important for me throughout my journey to notice those things and just be mindful of how I am feeling about food, how my appetite is, because if I don't pay attention to that, if I don't notice that, I feel like I could easily not eat as much and unintentionally slip back into eating disorder behaviors because I'm not on a meal plan anymore, right? So like I'm eating minestrone as a snack in 2:30 in the afternoon. Like that is not something that was ever on any meal plan. I don't know how many calories is in this. I just eat what I want when I feel like it. Like there are some caveats to that, of course, but I'm not going to go into detail about intuitive eating in this video because that will make it far too long. Anyway, so in this article, they had the risk factors, but they also had protective factors. And so I was really interested in these because maintaining mental health during graduate school is so important, but also just maintaining mental health in general is really important. But in particular, when you're at graduate school, things that can support your mental health included having positive writing habits, having a positive image of yourself, being involved in non-PhD activities, social support, being part of multiple groups in and outside of academia, viewing the PhD as a process, self-care, a positive relationship with your supervisor, seeing the bigger picture, being authentic. Recently, I've been working on these factors. I've been working on trying to incorporate these protective factors into my life more. So I've been trying to write a bit more. And it's true that I do find when I write that I feel much better about my PhD. Like I feel like I'm getting somewhere, that I've achieved something, that I have something tangible I can see that can contribute to my thesis, and then eventually I'll be done with this. I'm also trying to involve myself in non-academic activities like volunteering, meeting friends. I got a couple more books out from the library which I have yet to read, but this is a good way of keeping myself accountable to reading those. Being authentic is really important as well. So regardless of how the university might present itself and the university systems in place, I can still speak my truth and I can still support students in the way that in ways that agree with my values. And I don't need to live according to the institution's values. Like, I can follow my own path, even if it's slightly different to what academia might see as good, like as morally superior or something. Seeing the bigger picture is really important as well. So doing a PhD is so easy to get down in the details of everything, because every day, for me anyway, every day I'm doing data analysis, I'm getting right down to like nitty-gritty numbers and things that it's important to just take a step back and remember the bigger picture, and that the PhD is just one part of my life, it's one step in my journey, and in a year, or hopefully a bit less than a year, I'll be done with it and this chapter will close. Social support is of course very important as well, so reaching out to other doctoral students, being involved in student advocacy definitely has those benefits because I talk with peers a lot, we can share our frustrations together, but also talking with people outside of academia is really important as well, because you need to realize that elsewhere in the world people do care and people are trying to make the world a better place. In the university, in the institution, it can feel like no one cares and no one is listening and no one wants to make the world or our community better, to better serve our like to better serve the people in our community. And so it's really important to engage with other people who are doing great work or have similar values to myself, so that I can take a step back and be like, okay, maybe this particular university that I'm at is acting in this way, but hey, other people are doing great things. And self-care is really important as well. And for me, self-care looks like washing my hair, or putting on comfy clothes during the day when I'm working, rather than wearing tight jeans or something. Not working really long hours every day of the week, things like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if you are in graduate school and you are feeling frustrated, you are feeling like your mental health is suffering, you are definitely not alone, but there are steps that you can take to improve things for yourself. Even though graduate school is really frustrating and makes me angry sometimes, there's no point losing my mental health over it. If I did engage in eating disorder behaviours, there would be no way that I could change anything either, and I probably wouldn't be able to finish my studies. So this way forward is better. So even though I might feel angry sometimes, I can tolerate that. I don't need to numb myself or anything like that. And this way it means that I'm only dealing with one bully, the institution, rather than two bullies, because I do not want that bully eating disorder in my head again. So I'm going to stop recording now, otherwise it's going to take me ages to edit it. Sorry for this video that kind of went around in circles and probably didn't make complete sense, but that's where I'm at, not making complete sense. So I hope you're doing well, and I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll record again soon. Bye!